Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. All right, so we had someone in chat drop a job description saying, "Can I get some thoughts on what kind of projects I could build? Are there any kinds of project ideas I can try for getting a foot in the door for these kinds of jobs?" So let's take a look at this job post. So junior software development engineer at ThinkBox. For Amazon. AWS is excited to share we're hiring for a team building a new AWS service from the ground up for media and entertainment. Do you want to transform the entire market segment? Do you like to work with artists and creative people with a rich diversity of backgrounds? Check out what our customers can create with our technology. And they give you a YouTube video. So let's go load that up in the background without the audio. All right. So some sort of like movie editing kind of thing. So is it an animation platform or is it a movie platform? They've got some sort of like digital rendering kind of platform. So, I mean, a project that would stand out to companies would be things like, animation and 3D rendering and things like that. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of like video manipulation, green screen manipulation, stuff like that. Video editing, video splicing, those kinds of things would all come into play. And my dog decided this is a good time to come say hello to everybody. Hello, pup. Come here. Come here. Hi. Hi. Say hi to everybody. This is Riker, everybody. Hello. Hi. Come here. Here, stand up tall. Stand up tall. Let them see you on camera. Let them see you. Oh, you're all done now? Okay. He's just begging for cookies, that's all. So I mean, it looks like, all I'm seeing are like little movie clips and things like that. My guess is that it's something about, animation, movie production, cloud rendering. Okay, here we go. So virtual workstations, cloud rendering, storage solutions. And that's it. That's all they tell you without listening to the audio on it, of course. So knowing all of that, our team puts high value on work-life harmony at Amazon. That's funny. We're distributed across many locations: Seattle, Palo Alto, San Francisco, Vancouver, Winnipeg. You're welcome to work from the office or remotely. We try to keep core availability hours. Yeah, that's fine. Inclusive team culture, basic qualifications. So Java, C++, C#, including object-oriented design. Practical experience working with and building large-scale distributed systems. So, I mean, if they're looking for an entry-level role, bachelor's degree or 1 year of experience, but they want you to have experience building large-scale distributed systems with a strong customer focus. Those don't jive for me. That actually sounds very incongruent. If you've only got a year of experience, the chances that you've built out large-scale distributed systems are pretty remote unless you've studied this at school and have a degree. Building something on your own, you could design it to scale, but you're not actually going to be like building something that actually scales because you'll go broke trying to like come up with all the compute power and everything you need to actually make something like this happen. So yeah, this is unfortunately a little bit vague, to be honest. It's they don't tell you a whole lot other than some core programming languages, Java, C++, C#. So having a project in one of those core languages would be important. Focusing on object-oriented design like MVC design pattern or other design patterns would be a good one to start out with. At least one modern language such as. So it sounds like they've got some flexibility. 1 year of experience in software development or a degree. I have my own feelings about whether you need a degree for some types of roles. This kind of role, though, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of low level, a lot of processing power, a CS degree is probably going to really give you an advantage in this kind of role. If you're self-taught, going through a program like 100 Devs or Turing or something like that, you're probably not going to learn the level of skill that you're going to need for this kind of job. Plus, those kinds of programs don't teach, distributed systems. I mean, they'll teach you a little bit about like worker queues and stuff like that, but nothing at a really massive scale. Strong customer focus, understanding what customers expect from their compute infrastructure, and passion for delivering on these problems and satisfying these customers. I mean, that's understanding like what kinds of problems they're going to have with animation rendering and things like that. Like the first one's going to be speed. Like it takes too long to actually render all these, 30 to 60 frame, animations and so on. So, I mean, what kinds of projects are going to stand out? I mean, build me some projects in these low-level languages, but you're going to have to show really good competency in object-oriented programming from a scalability point of view and understanding good system architecture about how to take the idea of an application and break it into smaller pieces where you could scale each of those pieces individually. That's harder to do if you're kind of a self-taught dev or you've gone through, like I say, a coding program, things like that. If you've got a CS degree and a CS background, you may have studied classes like this. So I would make those classes very prominent on the resume to show that you've worked in those kinds of things. But again, having a project around distributed scale, unless you did that at an internship or something like that, it's going to be hard to show that proficiency. Because like I said, you can design something like, oh, I'm going to go build out all these different Docker containers that spin up and you can just like scale out that Docker container. But you don't just scale a Docker container. You still have to figure out how do they all communicate and, have queues and event-driven architecture and stuff in between them that when something happens over here, it kind of like ripples through and like causes other things to happen. It's harder to do for sure. Like coming up with a project like that on your own is, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's less likely to come up with that kind of project idea on your own. Like you could take any full scale app or like full stack app and break it out into something that's widely distributed like this. But like I said, it's going to be mostly design. It's not going to be, it'll be like design by theory. It's not even going to be like a proven design because of how expensive it would be to actually like spin up all those instances and actually run that, in the cloud somewhere to see all that happening. You could try and run it on just commodity hardware and say like I was able to get 50 or 100 of these Docker containers, but when they're talking about doing things at scale, they're talking about like thousands of instances or more. So yeah, unfortunately I haven't got really good idea for you on like what other kinds of projects to build for that scalability side of things. I would probably look into like common like system design questions and actually go start figuring out like what would it take to actually go build a scalable, library book sharing, at a national like a national level. Like if I were going to have a nationwide network of libraries where anybody at any library can check out a book from any other library and have it shipped to you, like what would that look like? How would that scale over time? Like as new libraries get built, other libraries drop off, books are traveling all over the place, and when they return it, they're returning it to a local library, not necessarily back to the library that it came from. So how do you update inventory as far as where does that book live now? How do other people find that book? How do other libraries know that you've returned the book? How does that happen? Because that would be the idea of an event, right? You're returning a book, and so that trickles an event through the system going, hey, I have that book in my inventory over here now, and everybody else figures out how. Or when they say, I want to search for a particular book, how do you do that search in a distributed way? That may not play well as far as like as a strict analogy to what they're looking for in this job post around a distributed system when it comes to like rendering animation. But having some sort of like distributed work, I think could be helpful. Like go find a database of like 1 million zip codes or 1 million addresses or something, and then like spin that off into like worker jobs where you reformat the address or something like that. Now you've got a project where it's widely distributed, where you've got lots and lots of workers, where if I've got a job to do, I need to go reformat all these addresses and then pull it all back into one central thing. That would be a little bit like this animation rendering, where it's like, okay, I've got thousands or millions of frames that I need to go render. So you go render this frame, you go render this frame, you go render this frame. And at the end of it, I need to bring it all back and build a movie out of that. And so building a project around, go scrape 1 million street addresses, go reformat them in reverse, and then bring it back and compile it in the same order or in a particular order or something like that. That might be a good demonstration of understanding, okay, well, I've got all this data coming in, but now I'm waiting on this one piece of data that's supposed to fit in here, and I have to wait to get that before I can append other things after it, and understanding about how do you wait for work to happen to come back so that things actually come back in the correct order. A project like that could be applicable. And I don't think would be as difficult as something like really massively scalable. And would still demonstrate like some of the core knowledge that you might need for a job like that. So that would be kind of my first impression. If you've got a CS degree and you've done an internship at another FANG level company, they'll probably just consider that experience. But having these low level programming languages will probably really help, and having the knowledge of how to work with those low level languages, I think, would be really beneficial too. Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.